computer. And so we begin the recording. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is obviously I'm going to write down the numbers because you guys can't see the numbers. Some of you don't have it. But it might take me a little bit to write down the numbers. And here we go, 173. I couldn't run this morning, so I'll run later today. So here we go. Got a few more numbers to go. 175, 178, 160, 195, 224, 244, 146, 162, 146, 177, 163, 149, and 188. Okay, what's the problem? What's the first thing that we need to do here?
Arrange a number from
The
least to
stem
greatest.
chart or stem and leaf.
You could do a stem and leaf to arrange it, but yeah, basically the first thing we need to do is we need to quickly arrange the numbers. How many numbers do we have here, by the way?
20.
Yeah, we have 20 numbers. So what's my smallest stem here? Just let's use stem and leaf just to practice it and to put it in order quickly, I guess. So what's my smallest stem?
145.
So 14 would be my smallest stem. What's my biggest stem?
24.
Okay, so there's a spread. I'm gonna go ahead and just go like this because I'm gonna have to make it all the way to. Now again, this is not the best way to put numbers sometimes, but it's in this case I think it's gonna work. We don't have that many numbers. We'll be just fine. So 167. Here we go. 180. Here we go. 192. Here we go. 173. Here we go. 145. Here we go. 151. Here we go. 174. 175. 178. 160. 195. 224. 244. 146. 162. 146. 177. 163. 149. 188. And we just created our stem and leaf plot. Remember, if you turn your head to the side, you have like a histogram. Another thing I should make sure we always do is you have to tell your audience how to read it. So this is our key. Here's our key. 14/3 equals 143. That tells your audience how to read this. We got a bunch of people without the cameras. If I go again, I'm removing you from the lecture. You guys are relatively young, so you're not ugly, you're pretty, you can keep your face up there. All right, so if I go again, whoever's off camera is being put in the waiting room. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put it in order. We don't have to worry about this one. This is in order. That one though, 0237. 0237. 0237. 0237. This one is almost in order. 3, 4, 5, and then we just switch the 7 and the 8. And I think we're in order. Are we in order? Are we in order?
I think we're in order, mister.
It looks good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and erase these top numbers here, and I'm going to be able to reconstruct the data. Okay? So we have 145, 146, 146, 149. Okay? Good. 151, 160, 162, 163, 167, 173, 174, 175, 177, 178, 180, 188, 192, 195, 224, 244. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So the size of my data is 20, n equals to 20. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
By the way, I should have mentioned this. If you look at your grade book, there's a second category there. Okay? That means at the end of the class, I'm going to ask you to post a picture of the notes you wrote today in class. And that's another grade for today. I forgot to mention that. So if you're just not writing anything down now, I suggest you begin, because if those notes are not good, you're getting an F. Wait, let me smile at the camera. So make sure you have notes and put your name on it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and now erase the stem and leaf plot. So stem and leaf plot's gone. And so now we're going to do an expanded frequency distribution. That's the first thing we're going to be doing. An expanded frequency distribution. So the first thing we need to do is determine our range, right? So let's do our range. Our range here is what? 244 minus what?
145.
Correct. Now, what does 244 minus 145 equal to?
99.
Okay. So everybody agree? 244 minus 145 is 99?
Yes.
Now, we said we wanted how many classes? Classes, we wanted 5 classes in our assignment. So we want 5 classes. So it's going to be the class width is going to be 99 divided by 5. So we're going to have 5 intervals we're going to create. 99 divided by 5 gives us 19.8. So we do what? What do we do?
Round up.
Yeah.
Round up to 20. We always round up to the most convenient number, even when we have a whole number. Now, there's several ways of doing this, but for now we're doing it this way so we're consistent with our particular book. Okay? So here's our class. Okay? Let's do that first. What's the smallest number?
145.
45.
145. Here we go. This is our first lower class limit. And then we add 20 what? Downward.
20 going down.
20 down. So 165, 185, 205, 225. So far, so good. Questions or concerns? We're just reviewing.
Do we write this down?
Yes, please, please. I know you just did it, but this
Yeah,
is
like-
going to be most of your notes of your class. So if you don't write this down, then I don't know what else to. So now this number here is 1 less than that one. So it's 164. And then you just add 20 downward. But if you notice a pattern, so 164 plus 20 is 184. Notice that this one's 1 less than that one. So this one will be 204. This will be 224. And if you add 20 to that, you get 244. Okay, so we just created our classes. The next thing is we find our frequencies. So how do we get our frequencies? the interval 145 to 164, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 such numbers that fit that interval. And then 165 to 184, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you have 185 to 204, 1, 2, 3. And then you have 205 to 224, that's just this one. And then you have 244, that's that one. So the sum of our frequencies should check out to 8 plus 7 is 15, plus 3 is 18, plus 1 more is 19, plus 1 more is 20. And so now we have our frequency distribution. We've determined our classes, 5 classes, and we've done our frequency. So this is, this is the third problem I'm doing on this. So if I'm going quickly, it's because I'm just trying to create a short YouTube video for everybody so they can review their assignment. Try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Questions or concerns so far? Is that what you got so far for your assignment?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the next one was the midpoint. I'm just going to call it mid right here. Midpoint. And so what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to add these two and divide by 2. 145 plus 164 and then divide by 2. And so this is 154.5. Now you can continue doing that same thing. Remember, the next one will be 165 plus 184. Get that result and then divide that by 2. Well, if you do that, you're going to get 174.5, which is 20 more than this one. So in other words, your class width is conserved. So 174.5 plus 20 is 194.5. 204.5 to 215.5, 214.5, sorry. And the last one would be what?
234.5.
Agreed. 234.5. Let me go ahead and just make sure that's good. Okay, so we did our midpoints. We did our midpoints. The next one is going to be what? Our relative frequency.
Wait, Mister, how did you get 154?
How did I get it? I took, okay, so the way I got 154.5 is I took 145, I added 164. Could you do that first? Tell me what you get.
It was and then you had to divide.
And divide by 2. That's your midpoint formula. Okay. So now we're doing a relative frequency. The first relative frequency is 8 divided by 20. It's a way to represent your number as part of the whole. Okay? So 8 divided by 20 is 0.4. So 0.40, I'm going to go ahead and put here. 7 divided by 20.
It's 0.35.
0.35. 3 divided by 20.
15.
1 divided by 20.
3.05.
And again. And what we need to check here is our sum of our frequencies divided by the total. So 0.40 plus 0.35, that's 0.75, plus 0.15, that's 0.90, 0.95. It's 1.00, so everything checks out. Remember, when sometimes because of the way we round, because these were nice numbers, relatively speaking, and we get 1.0 exactly, but when you round, sometimes you end up with 0.99, 0.999, 1.01, 1.001, and that's okay. So the next thing was cumulative frequency. Well, cumulative frequency is a running total of your counts that you did here in your frequency. By the time we get to 164, we would have counted 8 numbers. Okay, 8 numbers we counted. But by the time we get to 184, we would have counted 7 more. So 8 plus 7 is 15. And then 15 plus 3 is 18. 18 plus 1?
19,
19 plus 1 is?
20.
And so now we have our cumulative frequencies. If some of you are getting lost, I've posted, with this one, it's going to be, this one's going to be 4 videos online that you can look at everything. Okay? And the last things we're going to do is our class boundaries, which in this book, our class boundaries are being used to remove the gap between 164 and 165 so that when we make our histograms, we don't have gaps between our bars. All right, good. All right, let me just review attendance quickly. Did William make it to class? Okay. Okay, so class boundaries. We said if the gap is 1 between them, we're going to go ahead and subtract and add 0.5 to it, 144.5 through 164.5. So you subtract 0.5, add 0.5. And then when you do it to this one, subtract 0.5 to 165, add 0.5. So we have 164.5 to 184.5. Then you have 184.5 to 204.5. And then you have 204.5 to 224.5. And 224.5 to 244.5. That's the class boundaries. So now you're done with your expanded frequency distribution and you're left with doing graphs. Now the first graph I asked you to do was a frequency distribution and I asked you to use midpoints. So we're going to go ahead here. This here is going to be midpoints. Now remember, in this case, let me read the question at the initially. It says that these were tests administered. So these are scores. Those numbers there that you see are scores. So these are scores. And of course, we can put a title up there, but these are scores. These are frequencies, and we're specifically using midpoints here. So it's 154.5, 174.5, 194.5, 214.5, and these bars are going to be kind of wide. Let me make them a little bit narrower. You know what? I should be writing them this way. Let me just 154.5, 174.5, 194.5, 214.5, and then you have 234.5. And then I look at my frequencies. The highest one is 8, so I'm going to go ahead and make my scale here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one more, 8. Here's your frequency. Here's your scores. They're midpoints. So this one goes up to 8. Notice where my midpoint's going to be. Look where I make my bar. I kind of do that, and I go like this. And then the next one is 7. So look, I come over here. I make sure my midpoint ends up in the middle. Look what I did. Here's the midpoint. I make the bar. Like I do the same distance over here, more or less. So 7, 8. Then I do 3. Then I do 1. And do one more. And you're done. Okay? The next one was a relative frequency distribution, and I asked you to use class boundaries. So here we have a graph. We do the axis. Here's relative frequency, RF. Here are boundaries. So I go ahead and write my boundaries here. 144.5 to 164.5. 164.5 to 184.5. 184.5 to 204.5. 204.5 to 224.5. And the last one's 244.5. And so the highest relative frequency goes up to 0.4, 0.40. So I guess I'm going to go, my scale here, I guess 0.05 will work. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, 5, 6, 7. Now we should make it pretty, but whatever, it's there. So now look at class boundaries, how it works. The first boundary, right, these two, go up to 0.40. The next one goes up to 0.35. The next one goes up to 0.15. Then 0.05, then 0.05. And you're done. Super simple. Super simple. The next one is cumulative frequency. I asked you to do an ogive or cumulative frequency distribution. They both mean the same thing. Ogive is the last name of a mathematician. And with ogive, we're forced to use our class boundaries. So here we have our class boundaries. Remember, these are scores. So we have 144.5, 164.5, 184.5, 204.5, 224.5, and 244.5. And then here we have our cumulative frequency. The highest one is 20. I'm gonna go by twos. I shouldn't go by twos. Yeah, I can go by twos. I can go by fours. That doesn't matter. You can go by fives. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So the 144.5 here, we always start at 0. So the first lower class boundary is at 0. Then it goes up to 8. Then it goes up to 15. Then it goes up to 19. No, 18, sorry. 18. And then it goes up to 19. And the last one is 20. So it goes dun, 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 dun. You're done. That's a cumulative frequency graph. There's something in the chat. Screenshot of the board. I still can't see it. Um, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and for Angelus, he needs a screenshot. I'll get it to him in a bit. I'll go ahead and put it on. Did Angelus, were you able to pin this screen of the board? I can't see it. Okay. Angelus, were you able to pin the video?
But it's a little blurry, but I can work with it, I guess.
Okay, okay. If worst case, I'll just, when I'm done, I'll post it on Teams right now and you'll be able to see it. It's just it'll take me a few minutes. Let me just wrap this up. So the last one was you need to do a frequency polygon. And a frequency polygon, you have no choice but to use midpoints. So this here, remember, this one is a frequency histogram. This one is a relative frequency histogram. This one is a cumulative frequency graph, sometimes called an ogive. Then the next one is, we'll call this the frequency polygon. So when we look at this one, and I really should, I'm just going in, I'm in a hurry. 154.5. We have 174.5. We have 194.5. We have 214.5. And then we have 234.5. Those are my midpoints. And each of these midpoints are going to have a frequency associated with it. The first one, 154.5, is going to be 8. The second one's going to be 7. The next one's going to be 3. The last two are 1s. And I connect my dots. But what's missing, guys? What do I need to do now?
Draw
So
the
most-
end thing in the, like you have to connect it to the start and the finish.
Yes, so we got to create 2 additional midpoints that
Yeah, what are-
aren't, they're not here, but if they were there, this would be 20 bigger, right? Because the class was 20. So it'd be 254.5, 254.5, and you will go down to 0 here. And then this one will be 44, 134.5. And so if that existed, it would be here at 0. And you just created your frequency polygon. Okay, I think I took the, okay. Let me go ahead and try and post this on team. Okay. I repeat, okay. Nicole Garcia. Good morning, Mr. Cosa. I repeat, tried the Zoom and then my internet was running real slow. All right, let me stop this recording, guys. And